History has a curious way of whispering to the present. Modern headlines feel urgent and raw, but you listen closely and you can hear the faint outlines of choices made thousands of years ago. Choices about authority, allegiance, identity, and fear. These are not dusty footnotes, they are living patterns, recurring amid technologies and globalized politics. The Apostle Paul, he was at once bold and hesitant. He proclaimed faith openly and yet, at moments of extreme pressure, denied it. This oscillation between conviction and fear, authority and vulnerability, speaks directly to how societies and leaders behave under strain. 2,000 years later, decisions about power still evolve the same human elements. What began as demonstration in marketplace, like the historic Grand Bazaar, evolved into a broader movement challenging the legitimacy of the Islamic Republic's leadership. The government responded with a harsh crackdown, widespread arrests, internet blackouts, and violent repression. Thousands have been killed and tens of thousands arrested, according to international rights groups. In the early days of January 2026, a protester climbed the embassy balcony, tore down the Republic's flag, and hoisted the pre-1979 Lion and Sun flag, a symbol of Iran's monarchy and opposition movements. Police clashes led multiple arrests and demonstrators resisted attempts to remove the defiance symbol.
Item 4, attainment of world supremacy within the next 5 years. Francis, you've been doing some work on this?
People turned to symbols of identity to assert their allegiance, just as early Christians rallied around emblems of faith and martyrdom when facing Roman prosecution. The choice to replace the national flag with a historic symbol is not aesthetic, it's existential. Mosques, well, they've been caught in the crossfire of geopolitical decisions that reverberate far beyond their walls. When the early Christians community faced persecution, the safety of gathering places was not guaranteed. Church meetings were secretive. Communion was risky. This is before Constantine appeared. Followers of that first century had to choose allegiance under threat. Denial and affirmation were not just theological options, but matters of survival and identity. Leaders today make decisions under similar pressures. In Venezuela, the long political stalemate surrounding President Nicolas Maduro culminated in the removal to a decision in action in early 2026.
We're giving Pilate 2 days to dismantle the entire apparatus of the Roman imperialist state, and if he doesn't agree immediately, we execute her.
External and internal pressures converged until decision was no longer whether to act, but how. In both Iran and Venezuela, we see leaders facing the loss of legitimacy while dissenting populations test boundaries of allegiance. Back in London, of course, outside the Iran embassy, the presence of British citizens, including Jews, Muslims, and secular patriots, gathered together in protest signals, other modern twists, and democratic disparate communities are now actors in foreign policy narratives. What connects them is not merely common grievance, but the recognition that authority carries consequences, and that symbols, no matter what symbols, are solid and foresee the future sometimes. A roof ripped off a mosque triggers grief and protest, just as a flag taken down triggers celebration or condemnation. Now, we get back to the crux of the situation. The Apostle Peter was not simply as a religious figure, but an archetype. Decision-making under pressure often oscillates between preservation and transformation. Now, leaders today, whether state actors or protest organizers, face immediate tactical choices, but also existential ones. What do symbols mean? How must we risk? How much must we risk to defend them? And when they fail, how do we construct meanings from the ruins? When a professor in London scaled the embassy wall to replace a flag, he was not simply vandalising a building, he was redefining allegiance in the view of an audience. If we listen closely, the voices of history carry to today's conflicts. Choices made in dusty courtyards 2,000 years ago are mirrored in riot and police lines.
Yes, we are all different. I'm not.
In shattered minarets and in flags raised against embassies, authority, identity, and allegiance. Well, they remain intertwined, and the way we navigate them tells us much about ourselves as decisions of any ancient leader. At the courtyard gate, Peter chose fear than courage. The third Doctor once said,
Courage isn't just a matter of not being frightened, you know. It's being afraid and doing what you have to do anyway.
click down below, give us a good subscribe, and the links, they're all there for your choosing, for your delectation indeed. Give us a good clicking.
Shakanaka.